Genesis chapter 33. And Jacob lifts up his eyes and looks, and behold, Esau is coming, and with him 400 men. And he divides the children to Leah and to Rachel, and to the 2 maidservants. And he sets his maidservants and their children first, and Leah and her children behind, and Rachel and Joseph last. And he himself passed over before them, and bows himself to the earth 7 times, until his drawing near to his brother. And Esau runs to meet him, and embraces him, and falls on his neck, and kisses him. And they weep. And he lifts up his eyes, and sees the women and the children, and says, What are these to you? And he says, The children with whom God has favored your servant. And the maidservants draw near, they and their children, and bow themselves. And Leah also draws near, and her children, and they bow themselves. And afterward Joseph has drawn near with Rachel, and they bow themselves. And he says, What to you is all this camp which I have met? And he says, To find grace in the eyes of my Lord. And Esau says, I have abundance, my brother. That which you have, let it be for yourself. And Jacob says, No, please. Now, if I have found grace in your eyes, then you have received my present from my hand, because that I have seen your face, as the seeing of the face of God, and you are pleased with me. Please, receive my blessing which is brought to you, because God has favored me, and because I have all things. And he presses on him, and he receives it, and says, Let us journey, and go on, and I go on before you. And he says to him, My Lord knows that the children are tender, and the suckling flock and the herd are with me. When they have beaten them one day, then all the flock has died. Please, let my Lord pass over before his servant, and I lead on gently, according to the foot of the work which is before me, and to the foot of the children, until I come to my Lord, to Seir. And Esau says, Please, let me place with you some of the people who are with me. And he said, Why is this I find grace in the eyes of my Lord? And Esau turns back on that day on his way to Seir. And Jacob has journeyed to Succoth, and built a house for himself, and has made shelters for his livestock. Therefore he called the name of the place Succoth. And Jacob comes safe to the city of Shechem, which is in the land of Canaan, in his coming from Padan-Aram, and encamps before the city. And he buys the portion of the field where he has stretched out his tent from the hand of the sons of Hamor, father of Shechem, for 100 kesitah. And he sets up there an altar, and proclaims at it God, the God of Israel.